let's just come into our seated posture, however we choose for it to be. Have a straight spine, long neck, and just take a few moments. The important part of a yoga practice, that's bringing yourself to your yoga mat, allowing yourself this time for yourself, and giving yourself this time. Sometimes it's really difficult to tear ourselves away from things that we think we could be doing, but doing yoga probably makes us feel better at the end. So let's just tune in. Maybe start just to move the head a little, just checking in with the body. Checking in with your shoulders. Just checking again on your seated posture. Allowing your eyes to close if they weren't already. And let's just center in, being here, being present at the beginning of a yoga practice. Maybe it's a really good time to set an intention for your day or for your week. And then let's just take some very full, deep breaths. On the out breath, releasing full and deep. And releasing the out breath. So maybe to start with, releasing through the mouth. Really filling up the chest, filling up the lungs with this renewed energy in yoga. It's called this prana. And releasing. And as you release, just feel that you're releasing tensions, whether they're physical, mental, emotional. And maybe we can come to breathing in and out through the nostrils, if that's available to you this morning. Making the breath long, making the out breath long. And then we'll just notice a little pause at the end of the in-breath. And maybe becoming aware of a pause at the end of the out-breath. Coming leisurely with the breathing. And stay focused when your mind is wandering off somewhere on the shoulds and coulds and must-dos. Just bring it back. Just a nice, long, steady inhalation. Awareness of the pause before we release the breath on the exhalation and pause. So we'll continue for a few more breaths like this. And then just let go of deepening the breath and just come back to your normal breath. Just aware of the inhalation and the exhalation. And when you're ready, with your eyes still closed, put your hands together. Cup your hands over your eyes. Let your eyes blink open, taking your hands up over your forehead, reaching up, bring your palms together, reach high, looking up, taking the arms wide, squeezing the shoulder blades together and letting the arms just float down. And let's take two more like that. Reach up, really lift up from the rib cage, looking up, opening up, and letting the arms float down. Once more, reach up, open up, and down. And have a little wriggle there. So we're going to stretch the legs out in front. And just take a moment with the legs outstretched. I hope you can see my feet there. Not quite time to take the socks off yet. So we're going to bring the toes towards the head. So we're really stretching out the back of the legs and just do some toe bending. Just warming up into the feet, just the toes. And then spreading the toes, bring the toes back together. Spreading, bring them back. And we'll point and flex, point and flex, feeling into your ankles, whether you're feeling any tightness there. So you can support yourself with your hands behind you if you want to when you're doing these. And then taking the feet a little bit wider, bring the big toes to touch, and then take the feet out to the side. So maybe your little toes are touching the floor, maybe not, it doesn't matter. Bring the big toes to touch again. So really what we're doing is we're just making really big ankle rotations. It's amazing how ankles creak sometimes when we start to do these rotations. So just awareness of how tight your ankles might be feeling today. And then we'll go the other way. Nice big movements there. And then just see if you can allow your feet to wobble. So just shake your feet. Just shaking there. Good. So we are going to take one leg. We're going to bend it, bring it in. So if you can, your foot will be alongside your body. So the variations, as we've discussed, you could be sitting on the blocks now, stretching the leg out, or you could be on your chair, forearms on the chair, allowing the ankles to stretch as you drop your hips. This is quite good for a little bit of upper body strengthening at the same time if you really pull in and use your core. So whichever way suits you best, coming to this posture from the outstretched leg position, coming to this posture, pointing the toes towards the head, relax the shoulders. If it's agony for you, change your position. Otherwise, we'll just hold it here for a moment. So one leg's getting a nice stretch, pointing the toes towards the head. So we've got a nice calf stretch. And the other leg is getting, maybe for you, a thigh stretch. And maybe for you, a very definite ankle stretch. Try to sit up as straight as you can. While we're here, we just take a couple more breaths, taking the arms up above the head, bring the palms together, looking up, bring the hands back down. Last time. Breathe in, look up. Breathe out, down. Stretch the leg out tenderly. Just give it a little shake there, ankle rotation. And we'll do the same on the other side. So bringing the leg in, maybe one side is quite different to the other. Maybe you've got a knee issue on one side that needs the alternative position. Try to get yourself, once you've got that foot in, as close in towards your body as you can. So ideally, it shouldn't be, your foot shouldn't be, I don't know if you can see on the screen, your foot ideally is not out that side, it's in. And some people find that it's quite hard on the top of the foot, so maybe like a little towel or something even under the ankle. If you're trying this one at home, you can decide what works best for you. So with the outstretched leg, point the toes towards the head. So we've got a good stretch going on there. And then we'll take the arms up, push the palms together, looking up and back down. And again, reaching up and back down. And then we'll carefully take the leg out and give it a little shake, ankle rotation there. Good. So we'll stay with the legs outstretched. We'll find a way onto our sitting bones. So you might be sitting on the edge of a block or you might be on a cushion. And we're coming to Dandasana. So bringing yourself straight. The fingertips are just lightly touching the mat. And imagine now your back is absolutely straight. It's called the rod pose for that reason. We're just straight like a rod and shoulder blades are squeezed in towards each other. And we're just going to imagine there's a string pulling from the center of the chest and it just allows us to lean slightly forwards. So you're not bending at all. You're absolutely straight. And we're just taking a tiny little stretch forward. Now you might find quite a stretch into your lower back there. You might feel, oh, you need to bend your knees. So find what works for you. It's a strong pose. It looks like we're just sitting with our legs outstretched, but as you start to bring that hinge forwards, you find it's quite a stretch there, quite a stretch through the legs, quite hard on the quads as well. So we'll stay, we'll take a deep breath. Let that breath go. And again, deep breath. And let that breath go. And then we're going to come back to our cross-leg position or your alternative sitting on your blocks. And we're going to, from our seated position, we're going to take a side stretch. So it might be, if you're on the blocks, you might need another block to reach onto to reach the side. We'll see how we go. So keep both buttocks flat on whatever you're sitting on. Reach the other hand to the side. If you can't reach the floor, reach onto a block. Take the arm up, keep the arm by the ear, and slide the hand slightly over to the side. Keep the arm by the ear, and we're reaching into a side stretch. Take the arm back up, and we'll do the same on the other side. Slide it over, reaching up, maybe reaching right over. And then we'll just repeat this. So take your time, in breath, reaching up, out breath, sliding over. In breath as we reach up and out. Reach and slide. Just a couple, just enjoying that side stretch. And on the next one, when we take our side stretch, we're going to hold it here. If you find you've got issues with your shoulder, you can bring your hand to your head, or you could put your hand on your shoulder. While we're here, we're trying to really develop that side stretch. You can look inwards towards your armpit and just see if you can slide down that little bit more. Maybe bring your arm a little closer to your ear. Breathe deeply into your chest. And when you're ready, we're sliding slowly up and bring the arm down. Have a little wiggle there. And we'll take the other side and hold onto the other side. So slide your way down, taking the arm up. Take the arms close to the ear as you can. Really stretch forwards with your fingertips. Look into your armpit. Breathe deeply into your chest. And on your next in-breath, we'll come up and have a little wriggle there. So we'll stretch the legs out again. Take them about mat width. You can support yourself behind if you want. We're just going to roll the legs side to side. And then bend your knees. Take the feet about mat width. Take the feet maybe a little bit more out sideways. And then we're just going to bring the knees towards the mat. Just a side to side. I find when I'm doing this, I end up sliding down the mat. So if you find that's happened, don't worry about it. You can just bring your bottom back a little bit closer again, side to side. And then we'll hold it there, taking the arm up, taking the arm over and hold on there. And look forwards towards your fingertips, pointing away from you. And then bring the arm back. And we'll come over to the other side, reaching up and reaching over. And we'll come back. Good. So stretching the legs out in front again. And this time we're going to take a twist. So taking the right foot, taking it across to the floor on the side of the knee. And taking the arms out to the side. And we're going to just twist around, bringing the hand down towards the floor, taking the other hand out and twisting around. So just a very easy twist. Bring yourself forwards and just twist around to the other side. So a very simple twist to start with. Both hands come onto the floor on one side. We come forwards, both hands come to the floor on the other. One more time. And then we're going to take so I've got the right leg in front. So now we're going to take the right hand up. Bring that right hand down towards your ankle. Take the left hand up and really feel like you're lifting yourself up very high. This hand, you're going to make a rotation and this hand will come round to the back of your waist as you start to turn to the left. Pulling the left shoulder back and we're twisting there. Breathe in up the spine. Now allow your head to look forwards. And then we'll go back and see if we can make that twist that little bit better. Pulling that shoulder back. Looking behind. And then bring the head forwards. And coming back. And we'll change legs. So this time I'm taking the left leg over. Very simple twisting to start with. Both hands come over to one side towards the floor and we come back to the center. Round to the other side and back to center. Just keep going there. One more time. And bring the arms down. So we're going to, this is my left leg that's crossed over. So taking the left arm up and reaching forward towards the ankle, wherever you can reach really. Taking the right hand up, really reaching up. Make a little rotation, taking the hand all the way around the back of the waist. Try to stay straight as you can. Pulling the right shoulder back and looking behind you. Take a breath there. Keep the spine as straight as you can. Then bring the head forwards. And see if you can make that twist a little bit better. Pull the shoulder back, turning the head. Bring the head forwards. And now we're going to come into a bottom balance. So here we are in a bottom balance, which could only lead to a boat. So taking one leg up. If you feel that you just don't feel strong enough this morning, bring the other foot down onto the mat, but otherwise the foot's off the mat. Let's take the opposite arm and take it forward. So really hold on to your banders now. Really use your core, releasing the other arm, pointing forwards, both legs pointing forwards. Hold on there. Take the arms wide, looking up, hold on there, and bring your knees back into your bottom balance. From your bottom balance, you can either roll onto your back and just hold your knees and move your knees into your chest and away from you, or if you feel in the mood, we can have some rock and roll. Maybe using your hands, or maybe you're holding on to your knees or behind your knees. Rock and roll. And arriving back into your seated posture while we finish this shorter practice before we move on to the next practice. So let's just pause for a moment. Just a few simple postures that we've done there, stretching the ankles, stretching the legs. And take a moment just to sit and breathe deeply and releasing that breath. Breathing deeply. And releasing the breath. And let's just take a couple more breaths like this with your eyes closed if you're comfortable. And then just let your eyes flutter open. And we're going to move on to our second section. And this is kneeling, mainly kneeling. But you have alternatives with if you don't want to kneel for very long, because we're coming into some high lunges from this position. So you could hold on here with block. So from this position, you don't really need to put your knee down. But we're going to start off on all fours, and we're going to just take ourselves to all fours position and do some cat movements. So starting off just with tail circling, and just see how that feels working into the lower back. And then swish your tail side to side. And then beginning to sit slightly back on your heels. You might need to move your hands a little bit further forwards for this, and just coming into more of a stretchy movement, but it's really up to you what you do. Just have a really nice wiggle. Now feel how your wrists are. Check in with your elbows. Check in with your hands. Turn your head. Check in how it feels in the sides of the body. And then we'll come back onto our all fours position if we change position. Now we're going to just take one arm up and looking up and bring it back down again. Then repeat that 3 times, then we'll take the other side. In breath, taking the arm up and straight. Out breath, bring the arm down. And last time. And we'll just have a little tail circle. And then when you're ready, we'll repeat 4 times on the other arm. Taking the arm up and straight as you can. And last time. And have a little wiggle. Now we're going to have a little swivel on the knee. So we're going to turn one foot out to the side. So we're just making this movement. And from here, we're going to take the other leg, stretch it out straight. If we can from here, taking the hand off, pointing that leg away from you, the outstretched leg, taking the arm up, and then maybe you'd like to take the arm over by your ear. And we've got a beautiful side angle stretch. Now we're going to turn this into a balance. So if you can, take more weight into your hand and maybe your leg will lift as well. So hold on there, really working on developing this stretch. One more breath there, and then bring the foot back down, and we'll come back onto our all fours position. Have a little tail circle, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So turning the foot outwards, twisting your body around so your toes are pointing forwards, taking the arms up and reaching over to make your side angle stretch. Now, if you find you can lift the leg. Lift and hold. Really stretching, developing that side stretch. Hold on there. Nice deep breath. Bringing the toes back down. Coming back onto your all fours position. And from here, we're going to tuck the toes under and come into a down dog. So in your down dog, just pedal it out a little bit. Have a wriggle here, a wriggle there, whatever feels just right for you. And then come back down onto all fours. So a little bit more ankle stretching. We're going to have the toes tucked under to start with, and we're just going to lift the knees a little bit from the mat. So lifting the knees, pressing hard through the toes, pressing hard through the fingers, and slowly down. Now we're going to turn the feet the other way. So we're going to put the feet flat and do the same thing again. So press through the top of the foot, press through the hands, lift the knees. and back down. Turn the toes under. We're going to repeat this. Press through the toes, press through the hands, lifting. Really find your core. Stay looking down at the mat. Press hard and down. Once more, tucking the toes flat. Once more, pressing through the hands, pressing through the top of the foot, lift the knee. Hold there, really pressing, making the arms work, making the core work. And bring the knees down, tucking the toes under, and we'll come into our down dog. Really release the breath. Take your ears away from your shoulders, looking towards your navel. And just have a lovely stretch there. And we'll come down back onto all fours. From here, we're going to bring ourselves into our lunge position. So if you have had enough on your knees now, you could find a chair and that will help you to take this position, a high lunge, without too much of the effort. So ideally to start with, we're in a low lunge. Go into this position. And from here, we're going to take the arms up. And we're going to bring the chest forwards, lean the chest over the thigh and look down to the knee behind us. In breath, we'll reach up and see if we can take the hands back so that we develop a little back bend there. And coming forwards, chest on thigh, looking down towards your back knee, taking the arms up behind. Let's take two more. If you're resting your arms on your chair, then just focus on your lunging. Last time. Maybe everyone can bring their knee down just to take this last lunge, pushing the knee forwards as you bring the fingertips back, squeeze the shoulders towards each other, the shoulder blades, and coming down. From here, we're going to come into all fours. So everybody coming into a down dog. Really have a big, big, big stretch in your down dog. Just one more breath there, really stretching out. Back down onto all fours and repositioning ourselves with the other leg forwards to make our lunge. So once you've established your balance and your position there, taking your arms up, slight back bend, bring the chest forwards, looking down, taking the arms up behind. When you're ready to breathe in, taking the arms up, lift the chest, take the arms behind. Breathing out as you come forwards. Two more times like this. Last time. Holding on there. Lovely, lovely stretch. And very slowly bringing your hands down and we will come into a down dog. Stretching in your down dog. Rotate your shoulders from your ears. Let your knees bend very slightly if you want to. So you might find that gives you a better stretch. And then we'll come back down onto all fours. From here, we're going to stretch one leg out, stretch the other leg out, and we're coming into a plank position. So you've got a get out clause here. If you start to find it too strong, just let your knees come down. In our plank position, we've got our toes tucked under. Now what we're going to do is try to, with one foot, stretch the foot out, sweep it along the floor behind you, and see if you can turn the foot over so it's the top of the foot that's on the floor, and then bring it back. Repeat on the other side, taking the toes along the floor until the foot's turned over, and bring it back, bringing your knees down. And for a moment, just sit back on your heels or something just to take the pressure off your wrists for a moment. So you might like to come into child pose and just pause there for a moment. And then very slowly, bring yourself back. And we're going to come into that low lunge. This time, we're going to see if we can take it to a high lunge. So it might be that you feel that you need something to hold on to in your high lunge. Otherwise, we'll take the high lunge. Good for strengthening the toes and the legs. If you're ready, so you can bring your knee down at any time. If you're ready to stay in your high lunge, we're going to take the arms up as we did before. Lean forwards and take the arms behind. We'll take 2 of these. In breath as we come up, so it's a lot stronger on the legs. Out breath as we lean forwards. Last one, really trying to hold it there. We're going to bring the hands down on either side and we're going to come to a plank, holding on to that plank. Maybe we can turn both feet over now and sink the hips. And this is called up facing dog. Maybe the knees are on the floor. From here, we're going to see if we can turn the toes back over, come into our down dog. Take another breath and bring the knees down. We're going to take the other side into our high lunge. But if you prefer, you can have your hands on a chair, or if you prefer, you can stay in a low lunge. So if you're coming to a high lunge, you're tucking your toes under, pushing that back heel away, and you will take 2 of these, reaching up and taking the chest towards the thigh, taking the arms behind. And again, reaching up, coming forwards, taking the arms behind. Last one, reaching up, holding on there. Nice deep breath, bringing the hands down. We're going to step back into that high plank. So you can either at this stage come into a down dog, or if you'd like to, turning the toes under and sinking down into that up facing dog. Really lift the chest. Nice deep breaths from here, bringing the knees down onto the mat and finding your version, your own version of a child pose. So I like to have my knees about mat width apart when I'm taking this. Stretch your arms out if that suits you, and just gently, just moving side to side, just feeling a stretch into the hip. Very, very slowly, we're going to bring ourselves back to our kneeling pose. If that doesn't suit you, this is Vajrasana now, then have your legs outstretched. But we're just going to pause for a moment in our Vajrasana. Just take a nice deep breath. So you can either stay in Vajrasana or you can come to a high kneeling position, or maybe you'd like to sit on the blocks. And from this position, I think I'll sit like this. From this position, we're going to take our cow head pose. So taking one arm up and reach it up, take that arm behind and aim to lift your elbow a little bit higher. Try to look straight ahead, taking your other arm out. Do that rotation, taking it behind and directing your hands in the direction of each other. Sometimes people like to hold on to a strap, but for now, we'll just take the hands where they come, but we'll aim to take the elbow more up towards the ceiling. So we really get a good stretch there. Looking ahead, some people like to look up. I always find that gives you a bit of a tightness in the back of the neck. So whatever works for you, or you could just gaze upwards. Take a breath. And then we're going to release one hand, take it up. And a little dance down. Taking the arm out sideways, the other one. Do a little dance. Wriggle the shoulders. If you're not comfortable with your position, change your position and we'll take the other side. So reaching the hand up, reaching it high, taking the hand behind. Try to, at this point, look ahead and direct the elbow a little higher so we get a really good stretch through the triceps. Taking the other arm, take it up, take it out. However you want to do your rotations, bring the hand around, aiming fingertips to fingertips. Maybe it's quite different from one side to the other. It doesn't matter where your hand is, aiming your head to look straight ahead, taking the elbow up. Pause for a breath and then decide whether you would like to look up. Does that work for you? Or what about gazing upwards? Really directing the elbow up, feeling the stretch in the arm. Nice open chest. Take another couple of breaths. And then we're going to release and dance the hand down, taking the other one out sideways and dance it down and have a little wriggle in the shoulders. Sometimes it's really nice after that. You just give yourself a big hug and let your head look down. Take a big breath there. Open your arms really wide, lift your chest, looking up. And then hug the other way, tuck your chin right in. Nice little hug there. Pause for a moment and release. So we're going to, if you're sitting on something, just sit back down on the mat if that works for you. Rolling the legs in and out, rotating the ankles. And then I will show you what we're going to do next because there's a few choices. So if you want to, you can take a block and you can sit on the block. You might like to just watch this bit so you can decide which bit you prefer and then lie down. So we've got a nice open front of the body. So you might choose this, or you might, the block might need to move slightly to support you under your sacrum, and you might find that You like to come into this position for a little while, or you might find that you just love a shoulder stand. So I'm not going to talk you into a shoulder stand, but if you're used to a shoulder stand and you love a shoulder stand, now's your opportunity. So decide which position that you'd like to be in and take your position. So the position I'm going to take this morning, I love the openness of just lying with my hips supported by the block. If you're choosing this option, you could also take your arms up above the floor, up above your head onto the floor as well. So you get a really beautiful opening stretch. If you've got your legs up and you're very comfortable with that, also you could take your arms behind you. And if you're in shoulder stand, try to stay steady, stay straight. So let's just all take a few lovely breaths here, wherever you are. And on the out breath, just feel your body releasing. Nice, deep, steady breaths. So we're coming to our Shavasana, our relaxation time now. So if you're really comfortable where you are and you want to stay here, that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, if you'd like to just bring yourself to your favorite relaxation position, or indeed just coming to Shavasana. So take your time just to settle in whatever posture that you'd like to be in. If you're in Shavasana, just check that your shoulders are flat on the mat. Take your time to wriggle with your hips. So Shavasana is a resting pose, so it's important that you find the best posture for you. Some people find it's hard on the back with the legs outstretched, so you might prefer to bend your knees this morning. So I'll meet everyone in their version of Shavasana. And when you're comfortable with that, let your eyes close and focus on the in-breath and focus on the out-breath. After the in-breath, maybe you can find a little pause, making the out-breath maybe just a little bit longer now than the in-breath. After the in-breath, there's a little pause. Slightly longer out-breath. Maybe you can also find a pause at the end of the out-breath. Don't worry if that doesn't work for you. So let's just take a couple of minutes, totally focused on the breath. Stay focused on the breath. And if your mind has wandered, just bring it back to the breath. And now start to make that breath a little deeper. Just begin to get in touch with your body. Just making small movements to start with. And then maybe you'd like to turn it into a long wake up stretch or roll onto your side. Just taking your time and bring yourself slowly back to your seated posture. And when you're in your seated posture, let your eyes remain closed and just take a moment just to be fully present, being here at the end of your yoga practice. Just a moment to reflect on how you're feeling. Another opportunity to set your intention. And when you feel ready, rub your hands together. Cup your hands over your eyes as you let your eyes open, taking your hands up, bringing your hands to the center of your chest, bowing forwards, taking your arms out to the side. We'll bring the hands up to touch, reaching to heaven. Bring the hands to this heart center, touching to heart, bowing forwards to the earth. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Hope you enjoyed the practice and found something that would be useful for you in your own practice. Take care. Lots of love. Bye for now. Thank you.